So this song came about just another night in my studio, riffing away. I knew I wanted something a little more direct, something similar to Remain Violent, but not that meat and potatoes kind of brick to the face. I wanted something a little different, a little more musical, a little more intricate, maybe a little bit more melodic. So I came up with this core riff. Cool vibes. It kind of reminded me of late 80s, early 90s Slayer in the riff style. So it was different. So I had the main riff, and then the rest of the song I just created variants of that main riff, whether it was different tails, different harmonies, different key changes, what have you. So again, there's gonna be that main riff, so consequently the working title for this song was Riff Man.
So Carlos shows me this demo called Riff Man, and I really like it. It's beefy, it's mean, it's catchy, I think. The only problem is I get serious writer's block on this. I thought the title Riff Man was pretty funny, so the first line that comes to my head was, "I am the Riff Man, you like riffs," and that's pretty stupid. So I couldn't use that, and I had to come up with something else, but I couldn't hear anything else but Riff Man every time I put the track on. So I had to get around that somehow and kind of jostle my own thinking out of writer's block. So one thing I latched onto in the riffs Carlos gave me is this kind of clandestine or sneaky, sinister feel. So I wanted the lyrics to reflect that. I happened to be reading this book, The Sleepwalkers, which among other things talks about the Franz Ferdinand assassination. And the organization behind that, they got the coolest name for a terrorist organization. They're called the Black Hand commonly. The Black Hand themselves aren't the ones who did the assassination. They got these three other people, among which was a 19-year-old Gavrilo Princip, to actually pull the trigger, shoot the Archduke, and start the war. I thought this was really interesting because it's like the organization itself is using these young people as a pawn to carry out their will. And so I wanted to write the song from the angle of like the shadow order telling the agent what they're gonna do.
So when my solo for Black Hand reaches out, I had some big shoes to fill because I was coming after Chase's solo, which is about a minute and a half of just awesome shreddery. Different styles, of course, but while sitting here, I had time to work it out. I hadn't written it yet, but I had the time in the studio to take about a half hour to an hour. Wrote it, filled up the gap, and it breaks up real nice, and I think it complements the song really well. And another cool thing about it is when we did the video, which we'd never done before, we had actually acted. So Carlos, John, and myself got to dress up as the conspirators and portray a really cool little bit of acting scene, which you'll see in the music video. And I got to tap into my inner assassin role.